All right, we are live. So let me bring you back in just a moment. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I forgot to do my little intro, so let me actually do that right now. All right, welcome everyone. It is Lotta Hawkins, one of the admins for the Minority Women in Logistics group. As promised, we have a special guest speaker. We have both Jay and Abby of TotalDispatcher.com. And so they're going to come on, show us a little bit more about the program. It's a software, which I don't want to give all the good stuff away, but it's a software to help both dispatchers as well as small carriers stay organized, which equals profitability. So we're going to go ahead and invite them here. All right, let me switch my screen a little better, change this up. Welcome, Jay and Abby. How are you today?
How are you?
Good. I'll let you do your formal introduction here, and let me kind of see if I can move myself off the screen. So here we go.
Hi, so we were with Total Dispatcher, which is a TMS that we built specifically for dispatching services and for dispatchers and owner-operators when they're booking out their own freight if they're not using a dispatcher. I came from truckstop.com, so I'm really familiar with software like Truckstop's internet TMS platforms. Oh, thank you, dear. And none of it is really as effective in terms of how a dispatcher works, because it's all built for brokers. It's built for mega carriers. It's not built for dispatching services. So that's why we built Total Dispatcher. Make it seamless, breaks down on the broker nagging to you, and is a great way to keep your carriers on. Because if you're a dispatcher, you know they stay for like a month and then they leave and they start booking their own freight. But having a great software helps keep them absolutely up to the minute on what they're doing with you and how productive you can be, but also allows you to constantly keep an eye on any gaps that you've got with maybe one or two carriers that you can rectify, mitigate, make yourself invaluable to that owner operator. I'll let Jay show the software.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to have to turn my camera off because otherwise it's going to be rude. I'm going to be looking on another monitor. So just bear with me just a minute here. And I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully here. Stand by. All right. Hopefully, can you see my screen? Lotta.
I cannot. I just see the black screen. Okay. So you have it under the share, and let me just kind of make sure.
Share screen.
Okay, let me back up out of there again. Here you go.
So, how about now?
Same, I'm not seeing it.
Stand by. Yeah, it's
allowing you to share and then share screen and then choosing the screen to share.
Hang on just a second. Allow. It's not allowing my screen.
Do you have like some privacy things on there?
I've got a pop-up window or screen. Select window or screen. Oh, standby. So I don't know. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Standby. Too many options here. There we go. Okay, standby.
There it is.
All right. How about now?
All right.
So we're good.
Looks good.
We love technology.
Things we got to work around sometimes. All right, so we're looking at the admin dashboard of Total Dispatcher, and the big thing to know about this TMS is it's designed specifically for independent dispatchers, unlike most normal TMS systems where you invoice the broker. So this is carrier facing from the dispatcher side. Total Dispatcher is basically comprised of 4 different sides. You have the admin side, you have the dispatcher side, you have the carrier side, and you have the driver side. Now, you may be an owner operator So if you were utilizing this system, you would essentially just have that carrier access. Now, if that carrier has drivers underneath him, such as a fleet, then that carrier could add drivers underneath him and give them, access to their software, so to speak. So with that being said, we're looking right now on the admin side, and this is the company dashboard, and this is all, of course, dummy data in here. But as you can see, we have total loads in process by dispatcher. So it's really good in tracking analytics between your entire team. And one point to note here is that you don't have to have a dispatcher login. If it's just you dispatching carriers, then you can manage everything from the admin side. So you can create new loads from this side as an admin. So anyway, as you can see, we have all of our dispatchers here, with your dispatch company. It's showing total loads in process by dispatcher. Now you can click on these bars and actually drill in to what loads are in process by that dispatcher and drill in further to the specifics of each load. Okay. And again, here we have loads completed by dispatcher, same process. And here's further summaries of all the loads in process, completed, and by dispatcher, booked and miles, so to speak. So, and we're just going to kind of hop around to some of the key points here. I know it's really important to have some sort of CRM when you're managing your dispatch company. So Total Dispatcher has some of those elements built into it. I don't know how many of you heard of Salesforce, but Salesforce is a large CRM platform used in enterprise companies where you can basically track pretty much all the analytics, such as call centers and conversions and all that. So with that being said, we're going to go over to, if I can find it here, any pipeline. I'm hunting. Okay, so here we have to manage your potential clients or customers or carriers, if you will. We have a pipeline. So what's really nice, let's say you get a phone call, you're going to come immediately to your pipeline, and in real time, you start inputting the information from that call. And once you hit submit, it'll end up down here as part of your pipeline. Now, let's say a week later, that carrier calls you back and says, yes, I'll take your services. You put them from whatever previous status to a yes, hit submit. Now they become part of the matrix of a conversion of yes. So it's really nice and an efficient, effective tool for tracking your conversions and find out, where your marketing efforts are going. Again, we have an additional company CRM. You can manage, add company contacts. And of course, Total Dispatcher, this is what you get out of the box. We also have options for complete customization. You could have a whole platform designed specifically for your company. Of course, that would be an additional development cost. But out of the box, you can operate your company very efficiently. We have a built-in invoice module, which is always a very important aspect, how you're going to bill your carriers. So it's really simple. You can create a new invoice, put in all the particulars, and view your invoice. We have the option to be able to paste a payment link. So if you're using PayPal or Stripe, you can simply paste that link here. And on the carrier side of the platform, which we'll look at here in just a minute, they'll have that payment link. So when they make the payment from the carrier dashboard, they can simply select yes, paid. It'll send you as the admin a notification that that invoice has been paid. You'll confirm in your account that that's been paid and mark that as yes on your end. So it's a very simple integration. Now we do offer further integration with our third-party API integrators for example, QuickBooks, which is really nice. Once you are dispatching several 100,000 in freight each month, it may be something that you want to look at. Another neat feature is we have a delivery queue. This is kind of a triage. And what I mean by that, it's going to show you in priority which loads are coming due today. So if there was anything in red, that would alert you or your dispatcher, hey, I need to start pre-booking that carrier. Yellow is after today, green the next day after, blue is simply saying, one, that load has not, somebody didn't complete that load in the system, either the driver, the carrier didn't complete it, or the dispatcher. So if they're not completed, you can't invoice that carrier. So it says, hey, this load has gone cold. Maybe somebody just forgot to update the ETA, or maybe somebody forgot to actually set it to completed, right? So we have overall company loads in process, which drills into everything that's currently in process, broken down by each dispatcher, and total line hauls. So updating load statuses are very simple. Just by going in here, everything's dropped down. It's very, the user interface is very simple to navigate. All right. So what I'm going to do is, those are some of the key factors here on the admin side. Another neat feature is that there's two different ways to pay your dispatchers with Total Dispatcher, either by salary or by commission. So you can simply go in and edit your dispatchers. Oops, wrong button here. Your team. So you can come in and edit their profile and set their structure, whether they're salary or commission only. And if they're commission only, you assign that percentage. Let's say for here, it's 3% of the rate con. So that number is up to you to decide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to the carrier side so you can see the advantages that your carriers will have by utilizing your services if you have Total Dispatcher. So here we're now on the carrier side, and I'm going to go to the carrier dashboard. So what's really neat about this is that your carrier now has access, and it's a great way of showing transparency. You know, you as being the dispatch provider, now they can see exactly all the line hauls month over month that you are booking for them. We even break it down by region. So when you create a new load, you select the region, and it starts calculating, you know, rate per mile averages on the admin side, and also total book loads by region on the carrier side. Right, so here we have total load summaries again, rate per mile by regions, which is an effective tool when you're onboarding prospective carriers, because they always ask, what are you getting, you know, as far as rate per mile? So another neat tool. So let's say, you know, right now this particular carrier that we're logged into has one driver underneath them. Now, if this carrier had 10 drivers, for example, he would see, or she would see, all the drivers lined up here underneath. But for example, we have Rick Ross. So let's say this carrier fleet owner wants to know how much is Rick Ross brought in 7 days. You can come in here, you can add a filter and put in an entry date is before, entry date is after, let's say a 7-day period, hit submit. And now it's going to show the exact line haul amounts for that set period of time. So it's very, very effective tool. Of course, you know, the carrier has loads in process, so they can see all their loads in process currently. And then they also have loads completed, and they have all the historical data, you know, rate-con information. If there were documents, we don't have documents attached to these, you know, fictitious loads, but if there was, you could go back here and you know, download all the PDFs, rate-cons, etc. So another neat thing is the carrier side. This is a really like value added is from, you know, that you're giving your carrier. They can manage their side of the business by adding trucks and equipment, all the particulars on all their equipment, documents, profile picture, the truck picture, for example. They can create maintenance events, type of service, whatever those are. You have the option to add new ones if you'd like to. Any documents associated with that maintenance interval. Their drivers, they can manage their drivers. Even the admin side, of course, can add drivers, but the carrier can also add drivers to their profile. They just simply add new driver, put in all the particulars, password reminder, home base, etc. And now that driver becomes part of the profile. Okay, so, and then home time, hang on just a second here. I'm gonna go to view. All right, I'm looking, our developer has changed a little something here, so I'm just trying to figure out where the duty time is. I'm trying to find it, but I can't. So we'll circle back on that one. We have weather map on all the admin sides as well as the carrier side. So some of you may want to know, how does this communicate with brokers? Well, that's the beauty of this entire platform. From the time a load is created, you input the broker email address and notifications go out through the entire life cycle of the dispatch. So this really cuts down on all the broker nagging. So when it comes time for a load to be delivered, we're now looking at what the driver sees from their side. It's very scaled down from what the carrier sees. The carrier has all the analytics within their organization. The driver simply can see the loads in process and loads that are completed. So we're going to go back to a load in process just to see what that looks like. So here's a load in process. I scaled it or shrunk it down to what the mobile version would look like. So they simply scroll down, view the load details. Here's all the particulars, any notes that were put in by the dispatcher, if there were any notes associated with it. But a neat feature here is the driver can make check calls. So it grabs the exact location of where their device is and sends out a notification to all parties involved on that load that was created. And this is super handy when it comes time to fighting for detention. A lot of times brokers will say, for example, your driver showed up late. As long as your driver's made a check call, while arriving or departing a shipper receiver, it's irrefutable. So you can just say, please refer to your email. Our driver did check in on that call. Okay, so it's super handy for that. Another neat thing, and the driver can make as many check calls as needed. Driver can also make a change in the ETA, just like the dispatcher can, admin, or even carrier for that given load if needed. So if they're running late, they simply come in here, select the drop down and the adjustment in time, hit submit. Another notification goes out. Now, as far as completing a load, it's super simple. Driver comes in here, click here to mark load complete from their phone. Many drivers use Cam Scanner, which is great because it just takes a bunch of pictures and makes one file as a PDF. So if they are doing that, they just make one selection here, choose file, and they browse on their computer for that PDF file from Cam Scanner. However, if they'd like to take pictures instead, when you hit select choose file, it's going to say allow access to camera phone on the camera, for example. So, and you just select 4 different files if you want to. Put the initials, hit submit, and now that notification goes out to all parties, and now the broker will also have the BOL PODs in one shot, and it all resides on your platform. So, Abby, would you like to mention anything?
Oh, I think you did you show them how to do a completed load? I walked out for a minute.
No. So
Let's go to create a load.
So I'm going to go back into the, we're going to go to a staff side here, dispatcher side, maybe. Okay, so we're now on a dispatcher side. So again, as you can see, we have loads in process, loads completed for historicals. These are the carriers that are assigned to this dispatcher. Another point to note here is that Total Dispatcher comes in 2 different flavors. We have an open version and a closed version. The open version is essentially your dispatchers are assigned to carriers, but however, let's say a dispatcher's on vacation or is sick, they can also dispatch any other carrier within the platform. So it allows for greater flexibility. Now in the closed version, a given dispatcher can only see the carriers that they are assigned to. There is a little workaround if you need to temporarily reassign a dispatcher from the admin side, so it can be done if you do happen to have the closed version, but that's just a quick overview. And yeah, we're going to add a new load in a second here. So, all right, so simply go to add a new load. And again, another point is we have a video tutorial on every page, so that'll make it super easy for you to navigate and understand. So you select your name, select a carrier. We're going to use Lintex Trucking. Put in the weight, 34,000 pounds, rate confirmation. And we're going to do test and driver. If there's a driver selected, we'll do Rick Ross. Equipment, drive in, load amount, we'll do 6,500. Now, here's the feature as far as rate-con going to driver. So a lot of fleet owners, if a driver's getting a percent of a load, Most of the time, the driver wants the rate con. But if it's a fleet manager who's paying them by the mile or salary, usually it's no. So that delineates and makes sure that rate con does not go to the driver. Load pickup date time. We'll just say today. Making all this up here. ETA. We'll say Thursday. And shipper receiver. This is just a point of reference for the driver. Here's where you put in the broker email address. So we're just going to do sport. So this is going to essentially send us a notification to whatever we're playing broker with our support email address at the moment. Origination. We're just popping in example address here, destination. Of course, the address fields pull from Google Maps. So as you start typing, it starts to autofill, which helps cut down on error. And Michigan, Midwest. Total miles for the trip. I'm going to make this up. We're going to say 1,700. 382 is the rate per mile, which automatically calculates. And notes. And this is where you would attach a document. I'll see if I can do one here real quick. Demo file. Oops. I'm actually going to put a BOL, even though it would technically be the rate con for demonstration purposes here. Hit submit. And now that notification is going out to all parties on that load. So the driver, if there was a driver associated with this carrier, the driver would get an email notification. Hey, you have a new load. They're in their log into their platform and see their load in process. If it's just the carrier, so to speak, they'll do the exact same thing. So here's that load that we just created from the dispatcher side. And now I'm going to pull up the driver side. I'm going to refresh the driver side of the platform. And we'll see the new load should be 123 test. 123 test. So here's the load that we just created. View the load details. There's the notes. Put in Lada's name. So that's pretty much it as far as the workflow. So very easy to use. A good way to keep track of all your documents, CRM, pipeline, all in one platform.
And of course, we have links to the DAT and truck stop load board, and but you can add other links to other software that you're using, different boards out there.
Right, and just to make sure that these DAT subscriptions are separate. It's not included in Total Dispatcher. We do get asked that quite often. So, but yeah. So Lada, if you'd like to pick back up here.
Absolutely. So is there affiliate code? The link is being shared in the group. I wanted to make sure we are taking good use of our time and having our experts in the room to answer questions. So I didn't see really any other questions come up as we're going, but I do have my preset questions here. In just a moment, let me just again, the affiliate code is, I think it's my name, is it not, TD, and my name? But the link itself is being shared in the group. And so
Perfect.
There is a question in regards to cost, if you wanted to talk about that more.
Yes, I will actually share my screen again. I think it'll be the easiest way.
Okay.
Make sure I get the right screen again here. Oops, wrong one. Stand by. Okay. Okay. As far as costs, it's very straightforward. Plans and pricing here on our website, totaldispatcher.com. It's a $150 setup fee one time, and then a $99 per month. So for the setup you pay, and the $99 first month up front, and then thereafter it's $99 per month. And we have to do all the branding on the back end for your company, which includes your logo, email signatures that are on about 20 different back end pages that go out as far as the notification processes. So that's pretty straightforward, and there's no contract. You can cancel anytime if you had to.
All right, great point. I'm trying to see the other questions that are coming up here. So one of the questions in the interim, though, is there any particular, I'm on the wrong side, there we go. Are there any particular softwares that this will and won't work on? Example, Mac versus PC?
No, that's a very good question. No, there's not. It's cloud-based. It runs on servers very similar to Amazon. It's a huge network of servers. They do not reside in-house with us at all. I mean, the uptime is greater than 99.9%. Quite honestly, we've never had an outage at all, knock on wood, as opposed to some of the load boards that typically go out. So
yeah, never know when one of the load boards is going down.
Yes.
And that was actually the next question, that is how does integration with a load board, or is there integration with a load board, work?
No, there's no integration right now with the load board. To be honest, I mean, as far as truck stop, because they have ITS dispatch, we've brought on quite a few subscribers from that software. So it's kind of a sticky wicket as far as trying to get some sort of level of integration with them at the moment. But, it's things that we will eventually work on. Hopefully. Yeah.
So I know you mentioned this already about the tutorial videos being available as well as this video, because you guys did a very thorough walkthrough. But is there anyone to talk to if you do get stuck?
Yes, there is, absolutely. And when you subscribe to Total Dispatcher, we always provide a 1-hour training scenario or session, so to speak. And then, of course, we're always available by email or phone, and we can walk you through any areas that you're getting stuck on.
And those video tutorials at the top of the page are there for you at any point as well.
They're very short snippets, drilling down right into the actual page that you're on. It's probably going to go very slow here because we're sharing a screen, and I think there's just too much data but as you can see, we are on this company dashboard, and this tutorial just goes over all the aspects of that dashboard. So you have that literally on every page of Total Dispatcher.
That explains the page.
Explains everything.
Explains the page you're on.
Awesome. Giving it a little more room, because there is a little bit delay in comments and questions. So again, we have our experts here. I saw a post earlier this week when I asked what type of training, and you guys said, well, somebody said, and I'm sorry I didn't remember the name of the person who posted it, but they want to know, how do dispatchers get paid? And if I could just use one word, it's by organizing. That is your job. That's what you're offering your carriers. You're organizing their operations. So why not have an organizer for you? I was very impressed to learn that this one software has views for both you and your client. So you're not having to recreate the wheel to share information. It's all already there for you. And for this price point, is really just awesome. So if you have any other questions for Abby and Jay, please ask now. The link is being shared for you to go and ask more. We have a question up here. Here we go. And so this question, I think, is more. So it will be both. The video here stays in the group for a week, and then it'll be shared on the YouTube page, and it'll have links there too. So that way you can share it with those outside of the group, because we just went to a private group status. Great question. Okay. So Jay, Abby, thank you so much for your time. Was there anything, I guess, in closing that you wanted to share with us in particular about things we should know? I'm going to change my view.
I'll let Abby answer that, because she's the expert in the Chainalytics.
Ooh, no pressure. So I think the most important thing is that we need to raise the bar on what dispatching is, what that means to a carrier. We are here to take care of them. So making sure that we aren't just staying within regs, staying in good communication, but we utilize every metric and every point of data we've got within our marketplace to make you invaluable to that carrier. So you might get a driver on that says, I just don't want to do the onboarding paperwork. I don't have time. I'm driving. A great dispatcher takes care of that, but an extraordinary dispatcher who raises the bar in our marketplace does it with panache by utilizing, as Lada said, great tools to organize, keeping your pulse on the market, being able to advise them when we have an expansion or contraction in the market, and showing them how successful you are by, pointing out those moments of data by utilizing technology. Look,
Yep.
I made you $10,000 more this week than I made you last week.
Total transparency.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it makes you very effective. As I put, dispatchers are professionals, and this software just allows you to be able to demonstrate that level of professionalism from someone just getting started to more seasoned people, because sometimes you just can't, you're still getting the groove of things as you're getting started. So it's really good to get started with the tools of success, things that you can grow with and learn from. So again, thank you so much for that. And
Thank you very much, Lana.
if we had any, just kind of checking here, because it always happens as I'm kind of going in my closing thing, someone has a question, I'm like, So
we're always available too for questions. Just reach out to support@totaldispatcher.com and we'll answer anything that we can.
Yeah.
Let me put that email in there real quick. So again, that was support@totaldispatcher.com. Okay, now you guys are going to see my spelling skills. There we go. So
I'm right there with you. Don't worry.
There we go.
I get it.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for your time, sharing the information, and we look forward to continue to talk more about your products and helping our dispatchers become organized and profitable.
Exactly. Yep. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
And
Bye.
let me switch. Here we go.